killer likely fled through the rear door of the house. Here's the missing kitchen knife. Undoubtedly the murder weapon. It's clear that the man who killed Elodie discarded his blood-stained clothing during his escape. This ought to do the trick for that boarded-up room upstairs, just by Walter Brandon's room. Despite his injuries, the killer rid himself of anything that might incriminate him before fleeing the scene. The boots, the coat, even the knife. It's a chilling thought, but those very items remind me of the figure seen lurking near the manor, the same figure Walter Brandon spoke of with such dread, and perhaps the very one who was said to have harassed the maids. That mysterious presence was, in all likelihood, the murderer of Lady Fordside. At that old fountain in the garden, now little more than a basin of stagnant water, one can still make out the faint impressions of bloodied hands. It seems almost certain the killer stopped here, in a hurried attempt to wash away some of the blood spattered across his body. The gate still bears the macabre traces of that old tragedy, like a silent witness, pointing to the path taken by that murderous beast as he fled. Lord Fordside was a gifted artist, no doubt, but his work betrayed a dark and tormented soul. This unlabeled liquor bottles, the damp and the passing years have likely worn away whatever once marked them. There's a distinct scent of wormwood, the plant at the heart of absinthe. Thujone, its active compound, could provoke hallucinations, visions said to come straight from the goddess Artemis herself. A sharpening wheel. Lord Fordside likely crafted his own chisels. The door is locked. I'll need to find the key. Him again. Who the bloody hell are you? This room looks like it belongs to a woman. Lady Margaret, perhaps? The bed is made. The Countess hadn't yet gone to bed on the night of the murder.
This is a nightmare. I am deeply concerned for Elodie. The housekeeper has long been warning me about Walter. I have made some inquiries, and nothing is as it seems. Elodie remains blissfully happy with him in the house. I am at my wit's end. Since her return from the sanatorium, she has been positively radiant, a true beacon of light. They go out together and seem to have a splendid time. He appears very close to her. This is in stark contrast to the picture painted by the housekeeper, which is a complete contradiction. Last night I heard him scream. He seemed to be in the throes of a panic attack. I approached on tiptoe to the guest quarters, and then suddenly I was struck with terror. An insane, maniacal laughter echoed through the night. It did not sound like him. The following morning, Walter and Elodie went out to sail on the pond. Everything appeared normal, and he was the most charming he has ever been.
Something made of glass has shattered here. It's a damn fine bottle of wine. No one in their right mind would open a vintage like this and leave it abandoned, unless something rather urgent interrupted the evening. The fireplace tools, all knocked over on the floor, and unless my eyes deceive me, the poker appears to be missing.
Oh my God, Elodie!
Lady Margaret, quite agitated, grabbed the fireplace poker and rushed toward Elodie's room. Seems Lady Margaret was reading in the chair that evening. The book's still open, right where she left it. A key, likely the one to Elodie's room. Lady Margaret lied to me. She hadn't taken any sleeping draught that night. She could have heard the attack and rushed to see what was happening. Why did she hide this from me? The more I investigate, the more convoluted it all seems. I should head to Elodie's room to search for answers. There was a struggle here, clear as day. Not a clean break-in. The killer wasn't subtle. Photograph of Lady Fordside and Walter Brandon. If my memory serves me right, looks like it was taken at Westland Asylum. A rag doll, tossed on the floor. I'd wager it used to sit neatly on the bed. Either it was knocked over in the scuffle, or perhaps Elodie dropped it herself in the panic. A pool of dried blood. There's no doubt now. This was the scene of the crime. Judging by the sheer brutality of the crime, we can almost certainly conclude the killer was a man of considerable build. The blood-stained coat, found alongside the greenhouse knife, suggests that the mysterious figure seen loitering nearby may, in fact, be the very same individual who committed the murder. They say the killer always returns to the scene of the crime. But 20 years have passed. Why now? Let's attempt to reconstruct the events, just as they might have unfolded that night, and try to understand precisely what happened. A teacup on the bedside table. Elodie must have lain down that night, perhaps already drifting to sleep. The door's lock, completely broken, indicates someone forced their way into the room, likely startling Elodie awake. Elodie tried to flee, but the killer cornered her near the vanity. She lost her balance and fell, breaking the dresser and chair. The killer dragged her to the bed against her will. In the struggle, one of the vases fell from the mantelpiece. On the bed, the killer stabbed her mercilessly, again and again, staining the sheets with blood. That's when Lady Margaret arrived, striking the killer with the fireplace poker, knocking him away from Elodie. Wounded, the killer fled the scene, but it was already too late. Elodie was already dead. The old Bloomsbury mansion. It choked my thoughts. It had that kind of sadness that seeps into your bones like old damp, and that sudden abandonment, so clear before my eyes, looked like a sinister time capsule. One thing was certain. My next move was to dig up answers about the man with the knife, and about Walter Brandon, the sailor from Westland Asylum, an old, forgotten sanatorium that, 20 years ago, was the scene of a meeting between Lady Fordside and that Brandon fellow. It was an ungodly hour when my battered car crept along the winding, shadowed road leading to Westland Asylum. What I found upon arrival was disquieting. The building, forsaken for more than a decade, remained illuminated. Was it some ancient emergency system defying the passage of time? Or was someone awaiting my arrival? The front door, sealed shut. As expected. Nothing's ever straightforward, is it? I'll have to find another way in. Bloody hell, it's pitch black in here. Looks like I've stumbled into what could be the kitchen. Damn it. The lantern. It's broken. I'll have to manage without it for now. Some of the rooms are completely trashed. I didn't expect the asylum to be in such a state of decay. Westland Asylum was a top place in its good old days. May 1922. This letter was written half a year before Elodie's murder. It's possible she was still a patient here at the time. The nurses were genuinely concerned about the aggression of patient B03. A bloody handprint. Someone injured must have leaned against this wall.
The girl? How is the girl?
You mean Miss Lady Fordside. Don't worry, that bloke didn't lay a finger on her. But you took quite a knock. This is going to smart.
The asylum was shut down 10 years ago. Judging by the state it's in, they probably had no choice but to close it due to the building's condition. Some basic rules, but quite necessary, I must say. I need to find Dr. Sheridan's office.
We must formalise the admission of Miss Elodie Fordside. I have her file here.
That girl? What do you think of her?
I don't quite know. She seems a good girl. I do hope she recovers soon.
I know what Dr. Mulder thinks of her.
Oh, don't be wicked.
You cannot tell me you haven't noticed. Have you seen the way he looks at her?
Shh, hush now. Someone's coming.
It seems the nurses were gossiping about a certain Dr. Mulder, who appeared to be especially taken with Elodie. This file cabinet is now empty. It probably held all the records of the inpatients. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Mr. Morley, is that you?
Lady Margaret?
Mr. Morley, I'm so relieved to hear your voice. I've been trying to reach your office, but I couldn't get through to anyone.
It's awfully late at night, Lady Margaret. How on earth did you know I was at Westland Asylum?
Well, I was already in bed, truth be told. But there was something on my mind. A vital detail I'd forgotten to mention. I called your office, searched for you at the mansion, and when I couldn't find you there, I assumed you might be investigating at the asylum.
I see. Very resourceful of you. Now tell me, what is this detail of such importance?
Oh, yes, of course. I almost forgot. You see, the truth is, I'm afraid that you're not alone.
What the devil does that mean? Hello? Lady Margaret? It's locked. Without the key, I won't be able to access the upper floors. Is someone there? Damn it. I've got a bad feeling about this.
Identity unknown. Male, early 30s. Admitted after being the cause of a series of violent incidents. The patient exhibits a disturbing duality. episodes of unprovoked, nearly superhuman aggression, displaying raw, overwhelming physical force, and subsequent plunges into an eerie, profound apathy. His faculties appear suspended during these lulls, leaving him in a state of unnerving inertia. Due to the unpredictability of his violent outbursts, he remains confined within a reinforced cell. Treatment involves high doses of sedatives, potassium bromide or morphine, and a regimented course of electroconvulsive therapy, alongside stringent restraints, such as an anti-biting mask and, if required, Internal report. Patient B02. Mr. Norbert Clark, 45, from Sanderson, is a persistent pyromaniac whose actions have repeatedly endangered both property and life. Despite his seemingly frail build, he harbors an alarming compulsion for fire setting, a tendency exacerbated by intermittent episodes of disorganized thought and incoherent speech under duress. His unsettling, fixed gaze suggests the planning of covert schemes, amplifying his threat. To mitigate risk, he is isolated in a secure cell, thoroughly cleared of flammable materials. His management includes a regimented program of sedatives and antipsychotic medications to stabilize his manic and schizoid symptoms, with vigilant oversight maintained. Internal report. Patient B08, Miss Beatrice Maren, female, 28, reclassified after initial misidentification. Miss Maren presents with severe self-destructive behaviors. She engages in autosarcophagy, self-cannibalism that has markedly compromised her physical integrity, and compulsively ingests her own hair. These actions, driven by deep psychological torment and overwhelming despair, leave her in a perilously fragile state. As a precaution, she is secured in a straitjacket and confined to an environment entirely devoid of any utensils or objects that might facilitate further self-harm. Her treatment protocol centers on the administration of potent sedatives to alleviate anxiety and curb these impulses, with ongoing monitoring.
gives me the shivers. I need to hide. Quickly! I can't hear it. Could it be gone? A cigarette case, with a bit of tobacco still inside. Clean water, an apple, a bit of bread, the food still fresh. A maintenance uniform, oddly well prepared. Not a speck of dust on it. Looks like someone's been coming through here. Perhaps this is what Lady Margaret meant in her call. Or was she trying to warn me about something else? I'd rather not go through there. Looks ready to cave in at any moment. Here it is. Dr. Sheridan's office. This is Elodie's record. Patient at the sanatorium. Nothing of interest here. Strange. Elodie's record was easy to find, but there's no sign of anything related to Walter Brandon. Something doesn't add up. What am I missing? Wait. No, it can't be. There he is, in the photo. Dr. Sheddenand in the center, and right next to him, it's him. The man with the knife. That wild mane, that unkempt beard, it's unmistakable. But what's he doing here? And he's holding a book. What was that noise? Sounds like something just came crashing down.